Can I talk now?
I don't know. All right. That was our double check.
That was our double check?
That's the double check.
All right, so are we
We are streaming. We have sound.
We're good? Okay. Because I almost had to burp, so I didn't want to burp and start the show with a belch. That wouldn't be good.
Well, that's, we've updated our studio.
We've got the black backdrop now.
I went to Joann Fabric yesterday and, found black felt. And of course, if you've ever been to Joann Fabric,
you see a lot of guys like John wandering
around.
For
and the thing is, I
felt.
found the bolt of the fabric, but then you gotta get it cut to the right. And then I'm thinking, well, who do I?
You bring your own scissors?
I know. I'm like, who do I? And I'm looking around, and so then I started following this one woman because she had some fabric, and I could tell she was gonna have it cut. So I'm like, maybe this woman knows.
Yeah.
So
she's in the know.
So then she's like, who's this guy with the felt that's following me? And so finally, the desk in the center.
Officer, there's a guy with felt following me.
There's a guy with black felt. He's following me. What's going on?
He's the black felt bandit.
That's right. So then, you take it to the desk and then they cut it.
They use a big slicer like
no,
like
she had like a
razor blade,
like a
yardstick,
whatever. The
pair of scissors.
Whatever. It was sharp. I don't know.
A razor
utility knife.
Yeah, like utility
box
blade.
cutter.
Yeah,
kind of like that.
Yeah.
So then,
exactly.
And then it was it. I was like, okay, I'm not out of place here at all.
No.
But by the way, it's Mike and John got it going on. The live stream
brought to you by Firehouse Doors.
Couldn't tell.
Yeah. And do we have entries yet?
Of what?
Entries for the $500 gift card.
Well, of course we do.
Okay.
Of course we do.
I thought you knew what I was talking about.
I don't know what you're ever talking about.
$500 gift card from Firehouse Doors.
That's right.
To start the new year.
Right. Go to mikeandjohnpodcast.com. You'll find the entry giveaway there, and you can enter in your name and
quickies
address. Now, I would well, not your address, just your name and phone number. Now, I will say this for folks who've already entered but have not won anything.
Yes,
you're entered. You're already in. You don't need to enter again, and it's just one entry per person. And we do double check and make sure that there's only one entry in there per person.
Under contests and games, first you go to fun and games, then hit contests and giveaways.
Super easy for you.
And I'm not connected, so I therefore can't.
Well, you'll be connected.
We got to pay the bill on this thing.
Yeah, all right.
Charge the battery, plug it in, whatever we need to do so I can get entered.
Yeah.
Okay, things coming up today. There was a lot of talk about the Motorsports Gateway racetrack in Howell.
I was quite surprised about the level of interest / debate
intensity
for a lot of folks. Now, and we're going to be talking to one of the co-founders of the Motorsports Gateway Howell, Jordan Dix. He'll be giving us a call here in 10 or so minutes. So we'll put a lot of the comments that we saw on our Facebook page and a lot of the back and forth, people questioning this and that. We'll ask him about it and try and get some more information.
More importantly, we'll find out if we can be the first ones to drive the track.
Right.
Because that's why we're having him on. It's not about taking care of answering these questions. It's about getting the Mike and John mobile.
I do believe I can answer that for you. No.
Then why are we talking to this guy?
For public, so we're trying to provide.
That's right.
We're trying to provide information to our viewers.
Oh, you're talking out of the side of your mouth. Right. See, now you put your hand up when you talk out of the side of your mouth. It's easier. You can just talk on the side. Or
maybe I could do the
like
NFL thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm Dan Campbell.
Right.
I'm not telling anybody to play. All right.
Look, the defense looks like they're set for the run. So run it up the middle.
Go right at them. Okay. So we'll talk to Jordan Dix, who's one of the co-founders there. Rich Perlberg joining us for the first edition of 2023 of The Less You Know. So why not start the new year out with knowing less from Rich?
And we will.
Absolutely.
And Rich wants to talk about stuff in the NFL this week. Of course, the horrific injury that we saw earlier, what that means for the NFL, and then maybe we'll fit in some Harbaugh speculation.
Okay.
Yeah. Speculation.
Can you say
speculation?
Speculating. Might go back to
We're going to speculate about Harbaugh.
the Harbaugh files coming up. Will the khakis be moving to Indianapolis?
Yeah.
In the middle of the night. Like when the Colts moved from Baltimore to Indy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what they did, right?
Right. I was like, is that right? No, yeah, that's right.
From Baltimore.
Yeah. But then Cleveland moved to.
Oh, yeah, that was Modell did that.
Yeah.
I forget.
Didn't Cleveland go to Baltimore? And then Baltimore went to Indy?
I don't know.
And then Cleveland came back to Cleveland.
Somebody else came back to Cleveland to become the Browns. I forget, but
Right.
See, we're knowing less as we speak. We'll have the answer from last night's Wednesday night trivia. Somebody going to win a $50 gift card from Murphy's Family Auto. Last night's trivia question, our 2-cent history lesson coming up as well. And before we get things officially into the mix,
yes,
we'll start with local news, brought to you by Cooper and Binkley Jewelers in downtown Brighton.
All right, here's what's going on. A budget in excess of $54.3 million has been approved by the Livingston County Road Commission for 2023 road and bridge projects. Passed during a December 28th budget hearing, the plan includes more than $25.9 million in state road funds and more than $7 million in federal aid. That's more than double the $3.4 million budgeted in 2022 from federal dollars. More than 4.6 of those federal funds, though, are dedicated to a $6.5 million project. Boy, this story has a lot of math.
It sure does.
That will reconstruct Old US 23 in Heartland Township from the intersection of M59 to the Brighton Township line south of Bergen Road. The project, which Heartland Township will be pitching in $1.3 million towards, will also add a new center turn lane. Other projects planned for 2023 include rehabilitation of Chilson Road between Crooked Lake and Beck Roads in Genoa Township, and Fowlerville Road north from Van Buren Road to the Fowlerville Village limits in Handy Township. Another $3 million is set aside for pavement work on local roads. Local townships will match that with an additional $3 million. A Cleary University freshman's been awarded the Wilma Louise Cleary Memorial Scholarship for outstanding community service. Each year, Cleary recognizes a student who not only excels academically, but also dedicates time to helping others. The scholarship's valued at $3,000. Amelia Jason, a resident of Howard City and graduate of Tri-County High School, is taking classes at Cleary's Genoa Township campus towards her bachelor's degree in business. She's also on the women's track and field team for the university. She began her community service efforts when she was in second grade, observing an elderly neighbor who was struggling to get around. She began helping with yard cleanup, and until she graduated from high school and came to Cleary, Jason provided assistance to her neighbor, including lawn mowing, fall cleanup, and snow shoveling. Jason, who also dedicated many hours during summer vacation to local charities and churches, said the activities helped her develop a strong work ethic and appreciate the opportunities given to her. And just days before Christmas, the Salvation Army of Livingston County received a pleasant surprise from Myers Community Grant Program, $10,000. With the help of Livingston County United Way, the Salvation Army Social Services Director, Marlena Poff, was made aware of the program and encouraged to apply for the grant to help supplement emergency housing funds for the winter. With the Severe Weather Network closing their doors this year, the local Salvation Army anticipates an increase of funds will be needed to house homeless residents in Livingston County this winter. Anybody wishing to help out the Salvation Army and assisting residents in need can find that information on our website at mikeandjohnpodcast.com. And that's what's going on.
And news brought to you by Cooper and Binkley Jewelers in downtown Brighton.
Mark Binkley could barely drive a car when his dad bought the best jewelry store in town from Mr. Cooper. He spent a lot of time there after school and weekends, enough to know that he loved the jewelry business. Mark and his family were exiting a Sunday church service when Mark saw something more dazzling than any precious stone: Barb Lockery. Successful and beautiful was a combination too great to resist, and around Valentine's Day, a nervous and pale Mark Binkley asked Barb Lockery to be his bride. They were married in the rustic, cozy church sanctuary where they met, and decided to build Cooper and Binkley Jewelers together. You'll see them there every day, working hard just like you, helping people make special times in their lives even more special with a gift from Cooper and Binkley. They'd love to hear your stories of romance at Cooper and Binkley Diamond Jewelers in lovely downtown Brighton.
A lot of great answers in last night's trivia question. Trivia, of course, brought to you by real estate agent Tanya Zirkle with Sold by Tanya Z, whose motto is "Comfort is the key to home." You can find her online at soldbytanyaz.com.
Oh, wait, say that again?
I said you can find her online at soldbytanyaz.com. Smooth over there.
The control room, they were busy.
They were getting coffee.
Stupid control room.
Bagels were set out.
We had bagels?
First one with the right answer from last night's Wednesday night trivia bonus night wins a $50 gift certificate from our friends at Murphy's Family Auto. The question, according to the experts,
Yeah, you know how the experts are.
they're the ones that know.
Do they?
They say, if you do this, you'll save $2,500 a year. We wanted to know what it is. There's a lot of ways you can save $2,500 a year. Beth says, eat before grocery shopping. I think you probably save more than that if you eat before you grocery shop.
Over the course of a year.
Because when you're hungry, you just start buying stuff.
Even when you're not.
Only purchase what's on your grocery list.
Yeah. Well, I mean, come on.
Every now and then you stray from the list, buy yourself a little something.
I mean, I'm not going to not get it.
Charlie said, switch to Geico. We all know that the general is the one to go
the
with.
general, right. It's General Tom Thumb.
From yesterday.
We're pretty sure it's General Tom Thumb. That's the general.
Christian says, buying a cup of coffee. Or maybe not buying a cup of coffee. Do laundry in only cold water.
Well,
You know, I have one of those smart washers. I just put it on normal and hit go.
Now,
So I don't know. It decides what kind of water we're
we
using.
got a washer too, one of those smart washers. Does yours play a symphony at the end of the cycle?
It does a little, hey, we're done.
but now the thing is, if it's a little fine.
Yeah, mine's something like that.
Ours goes
a
on.
cute little
I swear it
jingle
goes on
thing.
for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is this, Beethoven's Ninth? I mean, just let me know.
You should be able to program in
That
it
would
too.
be, you know what? That'd be the next. That's the next level
should be,
of
yeah.
programmable appliance. So you could like connect it to Spotify, and like
Pick your tune.
right?
Maybe Don Henley's Dirty Water or Dirty Laundry.
Or that'd be
like
perfect. Or maybe the Doors at the end. If you have 7.5 minutes to,
If it takes you that long to get to the laundry room.
Anyway.
Barbara said make coffee at home. Bundle insurances, says Ashley. You'd probably save a lot more. I don't know. Walk or bike to work. You could save a lot more than that, I would think, if you could walk or bike to work.
Right. Not going to happen. Of course, I guess I do walk to work. I just walk down the
Yeah,
stairs.
you go downstairs. Sometimes he gets lost. has to put on his GPS. Where am I? Fourth step. Work from home, said Ann. Let's see. Use LED light bulbs.
Right.
LED light bulbs. Does that really save you more energy or more money?
Yeah.
If you're
I mean, it
paying
should.
more for the bulbs.
Well, that's a good question. Overall, are you saving money?
And then when you got to recycle them, you got to find a place to take them.
And
Is it really saving you that much more?
God
money?
forbid you break one.
Oh, geez.
Then you got to call the EPA.
hazmat.
You're like, really?
We used to, those fluorescent bulbs, we used to chuck those as we were kids and watch them
I
blow
remember
up.
when Letterman in his old show, he used to throw them off the top of the building and he'd go, I'm Thor, the god of thunder. And he'd throw these fluorescent bulbs down.
Teresa says cut cable. See, that's the thing. You say, okay, I'm cutting cable because
Right.
it costs me so much a month, but then I've got 7 different streaming services.
Right.
So do you really save that much
You
money?
do. I can tell you, we cut the cord to cable and we have like every streaming service there is. And honestly, we still save money, but there is a trade. Live stuff is iffy. So if there's live something, so like on New Year's Eve, we're like, oh, let's go to
I can't
So I'm like looking, and then I'm like, I think it's on YouTube.
Oh, you'll get it tomorrow.
Right.
Hey, it's 2024 now.
That's right.
Congratulations. The correct answer from last night's trivia was to pack a lunch. Bring your own lunch to work so you're not spending money going out to lunch. And you'll save $2,500, according to the experts.
All right.
And our winner, I have to go get. I took a screenshot of this
Okay.
just so I knew we would
Yeah.
have the exact winner.
Wow.
And it
Look
was
at you
Sue,
using technology.
Look at that! I know
Wow.
it's right here. Sue Marceau Johnson. Congratulations! Sue.
Congratulations to
You
Sue.
win the $50 gift certificate from Murphy's Family Auto. I'm sure you can put that to good use. Get your car ready for the season. Get the oil changed, tires checked, all that kind of fun stuff from Murphy's Family Auto. Your car knows. And for the rest of you, they're open on Saturdays from 8 to 1.
Well,
and if
wait.
you say Mike and John sent you.
Hold on.
Well, Sue can go there too.
Is this a Murphy's Family Auto commercial then?
Well, if you
'Cause-
want it to be.
well,
I'm just
all right.
saying because that's where, the
Right.
gift certificates
Well,
from.
but the trivia.
I didn't tell
in which you're winning the certificate is from
Tanya Zirkle.
sold by TanyaZ.com.
Right. We said that in the beginning.
But I know, but I'm just,
Oh, you're tagging it at the
so
end,
then you're winning the certificate
Right.
for Murphy's Family Auto.
Your car knows.
That's what I
Tell them
heard.
Mike and John sent you and you'll save 5%. Tell them you want the whole shebang.
Oh, God, yeah.
Do they know what the shebang is?
Well, you'll find out when you walk
Yeah,
in.
when you say I want the whole shebang, and they'll let you know that they know that you know the whole shebang.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Congratulations to Sue Marceau Johnson, the winner in last night's trivia. We'll have another question coming up for you tonight, as always, Thursday night trivia. We're going to check in with Rich Perlberg in a little while.
Yeah.
But, oh my gosh, xylophone is sounding in my headphones.
Good morning.
Good morning, guys. How you
Hey,
doing?
good. Is this Jordan?
This is Jordan.
Well, that's
All right.
good. We thought we might be getting pranked.
Yeah, we weren't sure. No, we're talking with Jordan Dick, who is the co-founder of the Motorsports Gateway Howell, which, of course, will start construction, I believe that's next week, correct?
On Monday, right?
Correct. Yeah, it's coming up quick, and we're pretty excited about it.
So, Jordan, as far as starting the construction of this thing, we posted the story earlier this week, and I think it was even over the weekend, but the story about this racetrack coming to Howell. And we thought, hey, this is a pretty cool thing, but then a lot of folks had chimed in about, I don't want this in my backyard, it's going to be too noisy. And then other folks were, well, this is really cool, but others were saying it's only for the rich who can bring their toys to the track. So let's talk about how this all came about and the support you've gotten from the community.
Yeah, it's been really exciting from city officials. We've gotten a tremendous amount of support. Even from the community, people. It seems like at first, when they're not really sure what it is, they think it's going to be loud, smelly, like maybe what somebody might picture a racetrack to be. But it's a great location. You've got the highway there, which actually already produces quite a bit of sound. Early on, we had to do a sound study. And we actually found that the noise that the performance driving circuit will produce from the vehicles is actually going to be quieter or produce less sound than already what the highway produces. That was one of the requirements from the city, is they wanted to know that we weren't going to be disturbing the neighbors and things like that. And so we had a background sound study done. And then even for vehicles that go on the driving circuit, there's going to be noise restrictions that the vehicles are going to have to comply with. So if there's any vehicle that is too loud, we'll have the sound monitoring systems around the circuit. And if a vehicle basically exceeds the sound limit, they'd be black flagged and have to come off track and remedy the sound that they're producing in order to comply with the restrictions.
So the key point is that the issue of sound is something that was dealt with, really from the beginning, in terms of understanding that could be a potential issue and something that would be abated, for residents. And the parcel of land itself, most of it fronts I-96, which is pretty loud as it is. And I'm not. And this is not to dismiss any of the concerns of nearby residents who are concerned about the sound, but I think some of the comments that we were seeing, I think folks had just assumed, or at least to be,
it was going to be Indianapolis,
and that there was no thought about what the sound would be, or that had not at all been taken into account. But obviously it has. And, that will be something that will be monitored and sort of taken care of as things go on. I think on the other side of this, I think on the positive side, and I know that you guys have been working with the city for quite a while to try and get this project done. That parcel of land the city has owned for quite a while and had been trying to find an appropriate use for. So I think they were happy to finally find something that would fit there, that would work there. And really, this does represent a significant investment in the Howell community, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We see it as not only us city officials and the local business owners see it as a transformational project, not only for the city of Howell, but for Livingston County. How many people, communities get to say that they have a world-class performance driving circuit within their city limits?
So let's talk a little about that for those that are going to use this. Is this going to be similar to the M1 Concourse in Pontiac? For folks that have performance vehicles that want to come out, there's not actually going to be races per se, or is there?
All great questions. And in concept, it's similar to what M1 Concourse is in Pontiac. Now, they're 87 acres. We're going to have 273 acres to develop. And Ours is it's an automotive district. So anything really automotive related, whether you have the Automotive Country Club, which is the core component of phase one. The driving circuit is really the main attraction. And then phase two, you have your Automotive Innovation Park. Now for that, think OEM, aftermarket, research and development, autonomous vehicles, could be boutique automotive manufacturers with the ability to utilize the events driving circuit. And then on the west side of the property, we'll have the entertainment zone. So it's really a place for friends, for family, for coworkers, to entertain clients, that you could come out and basically spend all weekend there, and everybody would have something to do and enjoy being able to connect with the people they're sharing it with.
Well, and there's, like you said, there's a variety of uses for this, from the individual level to a team competition type thing. And we have a good friend, Mark Howell, who runs a charity in Brighton, and he does a road rally every year to raise money, and he's been going to the M1 Concourse. And so I think having something like this closer to home in Livingston County is going to be something where you could see events like that, charity events that are community focused, that can use this track or be a part of this, as well as, like you said, where individuals are going to come in here and rent these garages and potentially put these condos in. Which,
I was going to say, tell us a little about the condos that obviously aren't going to be in phase one, but down the road here.
Yeah, the condos are, I guess, if I could kind of take a step back and even answer one of the questions you guys had about racing. So for the Motorsports Club, the Drivers Club, there will be open lapping sessions. So basically, if somebody wants to come out and take their treasured vehicle and push it to its limits, throughout the day, there'll be wide availability for that. We'll break sessions up by vehicle classification, by driver experience. So when people are out there, they'll be with individuals who are of similar skill set. Safety is number one priority for us. And then periodically what we'll have is club competitions, and that will be broken up the same way, different driving experiences or driver experiences, and then also vehicle classification. There will be driver coaching on staff. We'll do it in group, individual. So it's all centered around on people who are interested in motorsports or maybe want to develop their driving ability. It's going to be a place for them to connect with like-minded individuals, to feel comfortable, feel safe, and grow the automotive enthusiast community.
Now, do you I'm sorry.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Do you think this will be for just four-wheeled vehicles, or do you think we're going to see maybe motorcycles as well?
Absolutely, motorcycles will be allowed on the driving circuit. There's a pretty big motorcycle enthusiast community in the Metro Detroit, and we're designing the track for the safety standards to be able to accommodate motorcycles.
Awesome. What about riding lawnmowers? I
think
it could get a crazy night,
No, I get that. That's one of the four-wheeled vehicles that probably, unfortunately, won't be allowed on the driving circuit.
All right, fine.
Maybe the stand-up ones, John, the zero turn. So let me ask you this: as far as the size of the venue and the potential, do you think this could be maybe an outdoor concert type of venue as well?
Potentially. We're thinking of amenities for the entertainment zone that, again, could help complement the community, and we want to be good neighbors. So if it's something that, I don't know, as we go along and we explore the opportunities for developing the site, the three different distinct zones, if it makes sense and it's something that the community is interested in, absolutely we'll entertain the idea.
Yeah. You hit upon an interesting thing saying, we want to be good neighbors, and the fact that this is a significant investment in the community, it doesn't benefit you in the least to come in here and just ignore what maybe community members their concerns or anything like that. And so obviously it would make sense to me. It would just be good business to obviously take those concerns into account and make sure that things like noise and other issues are certainly being you're being mindful of that, and it is something that is understood and being controlled. Again, there's just, what's been interesting about this process is you've been negotiating with the city for a couple years. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I know that, we had done, various stories on this about the various, back and forth and the interest and potentially signing purchase agreements. And now here it has come. It's ready for, bulldozers to hit the dirt. And there were still a lot of people who are like, what's this? Where did this come from? Right. It came from nowhere. And you're like, well, no, it's gone through the entire process. And here it is. And it's going to utilize, and I just wanted to emphasize this again, it's going to utilize a piece of land that has sat unused for a long time. Hopefully providing some economic benefit, to the community along the way.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a long process. Persistence has definitely been key to be able to get the project to this point. And it's also required people who are very much dedicated to the project, not only from our development team, but even city officials, community individuals within the automotive enthusiast community. And it's great to be able to bring a performance driving circuit like ours to the Detroit metropolitan area.
So again, next week begins construction. Real quickly, maybe walk us through kind of a timeline as you see it for folks.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great question. So initially we'll start clearing the trees. If you go out there, you look at an aerial of the property, there's quite an extensive amount of trees out there. So that'll take a handful of weeks to get that done. And then when it comes into the earthworks, it's really going to be dependent on what the weather allows us to do. I mean, we're coming up on winter and then spring. So we'll see where we end up with that. But where we are now from a timing perspective is still on schedule to have the driving circuit, the members driving circuit operational in the summer of 23, and then to begin delivering on the track fronting garage condos shortly thereafter. And then if I could also touch on the question you guys asked earlier, is tell us a little bit more about the garage condos.
Yeah, please.
So the difference, so with the garage condos, you can own a garage condo or you can be a member to the drivers club. You don't have to be a part of both. And that kind of, when you guys talk about who is this really built for, that opens us up to a larger section of automotive enthusiasts. I mean, the garage condos, it's a premium location. It's going to have the appropriate price point for what you're seeing across the country, and even the garage condos at M1 in Pontiac. And the condos are designed for people who want to have that track fronting view, want to be able to either do business, entertain friends, clients. Overnight stays are allowed at the garage condos, so you can have people that even, let's say, in the wintertime, they go down to Florida, and then they'd be able to spend their summers in Michigan at this automotive district. They can stay in their garage condo. It can't be their permanent residence, or it can't be homesteaded, but as far as adding in bedrooms, kitchens, things like that, they would be able to have multiple overnight stays at the garage condo. So that really gives people the opportunity to be flexible with it and have different places around the country and kind of chase the sun.
Well, instead of saying we're going up north, we're going to the garage condo by the track, and kind of hanging out there, maybe watch some of the activities going on, or taking out one's vehicle out on the track with family and friends, that kind of thing, or even entertaining business colleagues, kind of thing, I would imagine.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. You picture it, you're sitting on a video call that's probably lasted far longer than it should have. And you're just feeling like, you want to get your blood flowing, get your heart pumping a little bit. And you say, you know what? Oh, schedule looks great. There's a open lapping session going on right now that I could jump in on. So you walk down to the first level of your condo, you hop in your
Maserati?
your Camaro, CL1, Maserati, Ferrari, Camaro, Mustang,
your 2018
BMW. It's
your 2018 Nissan Rogue, maybe.
If that's what it takes.
I don't know about something like that. If that would how
we're
that would
out.
perform on the circuit, but more of a track focused, or even a vehicle you really enjoy, and you get out there and you feel the freedom of just you and the vehicle and the road, and that's really what it's all about. And when a lot of people experience something like that, it's kind of hard to describe, but when it's driver and machine and road, and it's up to your ability to get the best lap time possible or push it to the limit, that's just something, it has to be experienced. It's kind of hard to articulate.
And,
All right. Well,
it's kind of like Ford versus Ferrari right here in Howell. So Jordan, from Motorsports Gateway, have you have other tracks like this, I assume, around the country?
Actually, no. This is our first one.
Yeah, you guys had an operation in Novi, correct? Like a go-karting operation, which you're transitioning it to this, basically, right?
Yeah. So that was a indoor racing and event venue. We specialized in corporate events, and even the furnishings that we had in the lobby and things like that, leather couches, flat screen TVs. We had a lounge with a pool table. The concessions, food and beverage service. And we really did a large number of corporate events. Now, for us, it wasn't just about people coming out and doing the concession karting, as they say. It was people having an authentic racing experience. So we would do events where they would be called Grand Prix or mini Grand Prix, where people could come out, they'd go through the driver's briefing, they'd have their qualifying sessions. Based on where they qualified, they would line up for a standing start positional race. And then the top three finishers of that would go to the podium ceremony. We'd do live interviews over the PA system. We'd hand out trophies. And when people got done with that, they would say, man, I've never been to a racetrack. I've never really watched racing on TV, but I feel like this is exactly what it would be. And that's what it was. And that comes from my motorsports background, competing in Europe and all over the country.
So taking that and kind of growing it from the smaller experience to big time stuff here in Howell.
Yeah. So conceptually, I mean, same thing. It's all about the motorsports experience, authentic motorsports experience. It's for automotive enthusiasts, and we sold that business to be able to focus on what we're doing in Howell. And for us, we're gonna grow it and see where we end up with the Motorsports Gateway community.
Yeah. Well, I think it sounds like pretty exciting stuff, pretty cool stuff, and hopefully well received, especially after folks hear this and view this interview. Jordan, we'd like to, as things progress, kind of get an update, maybe in the spring when the pavement starts getting put down and things like that. Kind of get an update from you if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to continue talking with you guys, and even also just connect more with the influential people within the Livingston County community.
You're talking to
you're
most influential.
We're it, Jordan. Yeah, I mean, it begins and ends with us.
Yeah, we're in a basement doing a podcast, so people are.
Tell him that.
But yeah, I mean, keeping it updated and stuff like that. And if you need event ideas like food truck races or something like that, and John suggested the lawnmower competition.
Yeah. I mean,
just for fun.
We're here.
I was going to say,
I'm here for you.
I'm starting to notice a pattern here for what piques your guys' interest.
Yeah. it doesn't take much.
You need a biker night. Let us know. I mean, we know a lot of guys. No, it sounds like a lot of fun. It sounds like a great experience for folks too, and we look forward to hearing more about it as things progress.
Yeah, absolutely. And if anybody else wants any more information, whether it be for memberships, they can send an email to members@motorsportsgateway.com. And for anybody who's interested in getting more information for a garage condo, they can send an email to sales@proper-real estate.com. We've working with Brad and Raphael to focus on the sale for the garage condos. They've been great, can answer anybody's question to help make a decision about that. And even for right now, for a limited time, we're offering benefits to people who buy garage condos for memberships. So they get a 25% discount on your initiation charge. And then for the lifetime of your annual dues, there's a 20% discount. So for people getting involved early, before we start construction, that's just something that we're extending to the community.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people can also get information. They go to your website, motorsportsgateway.com. Lots of links and frequently asked questions and things like that they can get there and find out more all about it. So, Jordan Dick, co-founder, Motorsports Gateway, going to begin construction next week here in Howell. And thanks for joining us. We look forward to learning more about this.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me this morning.
Absolutely. Right, have a great morning.
Thanks.
Yeah, you as well. Thanks.
All right. We want to thank Firehouse Doors, our original sponsor here on Mike and John Got It Going On. They've been with us from just about day one, and they've been serving here in Livingston County for now over 25 years.
That's right. 25 years. It is over 25 years because January 1st was their 25th anniversary.
It's 24 plus a few days.
Yeah, and now it's 25. Yeah. So 25 plus. Or is it? No, it'd be 25.
Yeah,
if the 25th,
don't do math. We'll have to call our friend in Jeremy in California for math information.
But of course, a quarter century. See what I did there? Serving Livingston County residents. Of course, they strive to treat each customer like family, and they are family-owned, after all. They're also veteran-owned. Mike Witt, a proud U.S. Air Force veteran. They're your one-stop shop for residential, commercial, and rolling steel overhead door needs. And by far, when people ask for recommendations about garage door installation or sales, people will recommend Firehouse Doors really by just a large margin. They are well known throughout the area for their excellent customer service. And of course, if you want that, that's who you want to call.
We should have told Jordan about Firehouse Doors so he could get those doors put on all the garages there at the Gateway.
Oh, you think we get a commission?
Well, I'm working on it.
So, call Firehouse Doors today, 810-599-7480.
Rich Perlberg has had a few weeks off, and hopefully he's gotten...
I thought you were going to say he had a few.
He might have, especially during the Michigan game, which that game, for those that watched it, went back and forth, and unfortunately Michigan did not come away victorious. Ohio State losing 2, so no Big Ten in the championship.
Right.
But the less you know with Rich Perlberg, our first edition here for January 2023.
Right, so I'm going to call him.
You call Rich.
Right, because we have to call him on my phone.
Yeah, we do.
Because your phone doesn't.
My phone doesn't work. Yes, it does. You just don't know how to hook it up.
No, you don't know how to hook it up.
I could call Rich if you want.
No, I'm calling.
You want to call?
I'm calling.
All right. Call Rich.
See? Look at that.
Your phone works.
All right.
Well, that was an eye roll, by the way. He knows we're calling today, right?
I did say that.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Who is this?
Hi. Hey, Rich, it's Mike and John. We are live streaming. I'm calling you from my phone. That's why the number doesn't. You're like, who the hell is this? What is this?
My spam detector is not working.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is spam, all right. So, Rich, I know we have a lot of ground to cover because things have been all over the place lately, but I want to send out a heartfelt, it's too bad Michigan lost.
You know what? And there's a part of me that thinks that there's not sincere, but you just sound
honestly,
like you really mean it.
A part of you? Just a part?
I mean, there was so much, there was so much online during that game about people yelling about the officiating and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, there were some calls that could have went one way or the other, but there certainly were some Michigan opportunities that kind of gave the game away when you say 2 pick sixes, but then you had
2 pick sixes and 2 not scoring touchdowns at the 1 yard line. Yeah.
Whenever the complaints go to the calls,
no matter what, and I don't care what game you're watching.
Unless you've lost by 1 point. Or 1 score necessarily, and it's like
literally 1 score.
I know, but it's literally at the end of the game or something like that.
Right.
Right. Occasionally, you'll see that they're like, okay, that call made the entire difference in the game.
Right.
But
there was quite a few.
not
blown opportunities and things like
that. I was at the. I've been watching Michigan since Bowles years, and watching Michigan lose a bowl game is not a shocker.
Right. Everyone's making a big deal out of the fact that Harbaugh's 0-6 in bowl games. I mean, even the tremendous season that they had.
They've had 2 great years in a row, though.
Yeah.
But not getting the big one.
Right.
But as you're pointing out, Bo that was something that kind of hung around Bo's neck for a little bit.
Yeah, it did. And, I can think back to like when the Vikings and the Bills were both losing regularly in the Super Bowl. They were both, I think, 0-4. I still think they had better success than the Detroit Lions did in the Super Bowl.
That's true.
I mean, you say that the problem is when you're playing the big games, if you win a big game, you got another big game. I mean, they beat Ohio State, they beat Purdue, and that just meant another big game. Only one team goes all the way.
Yeah.
So anyway, it was disappointing, but it happens.
But then again, it's not Ohio State either. And, when you look at that Ohio State
I will
game.
say this. Michigan State had as many bowl victories this year as Michigan State.
Yeah. Okay.
That's true.
This is a good point. We don't have much to stand on here as Spartan fans. That's for sure. No doubt about that. The other thing, and you had mentioned this in your email about this week, in terms of the NFL, obviously that horrific injury earlier this week.
Monday night.
And the debate that continues, and this is sort of just made it continue on even further about the physical toll that this game takes. And we've heard a lot about the concussion protocols and CTE, and the brain, damage that it can cause long term, things like that. But I think seeing this injury in real time, and of course this was a heart related injury. Right. It just brings home, that this is a dangerous.
It's a very violent game.
I saw one article where it said a lot of people, fans, like I would certainly put myself in that category, are uneasy about the fact that we're sitting back watching this game, as one person put it, while the participants are slowly killing themselves. And in this case, this was a rare, unusual case. I mean, it certainly wouldn't have happened without the physical contact, but it wasn't. It appears to be a heart stoppage that rarely happens in football. It happens more in Little League baseball.
Well, yeah, they do say because of it actually has to hit at the right time of when the heart is pumping.
It's like
literally
within like
velocity.
a 10 millisecond part of the heartbeat itself. That like if you have an injury or some sort of trauma or force at that point, it can disrupt the heart
and
rhythm.
it's happened in hockey too.
Right.
With
hockey is another one with a puck.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
So
but here's the case that even though this one doesn't, the fact is it's a violent sport. I mean, I just saw a piece that said the NFL was required to admit in federal court that one third of its retired players will have cognitive brain damage. 1/3.
Right.
And that's the NFL's admission. It might be higher. And that's in a sport where the average career is only 3 years. And that's the type of damage that's there.
And we've seen in the last, I guess, decade or so where participation in football is decreasing at the youth level because more and more parents are just opting not to let their kids play football. Although, other sports, contact sports have this issue as well. But football really sort of stands out among them. Except maybe boxing.
It's interesting to hear that. I didn't know the stats that they'd gone down. I do see that still more than 1 million kids are playing high school football.
Right. I mean, that's what I'd heard at least. And let me double check that. But I thought that the overall in the last decade or so, participation in youth football had decreased. And it's largely because of these concerns. I mean, if you're a young parent, if you've got a kid who's 5, 6 years old, and before you put him in the Pop Warner League or whatever, and you'd have, and now at 5 or 6 or 7 years old, I mean, when you think about all the things we do safety wise, we put them in car seats and
we have helmets when we're riding bikes,
and all the rest of that. And then I think if you're a young parent, you're like, maybe soccer,
Well, that's the thing. You see the participation in youth soccer is, my boys did it, and just the leagues and the travel sports and everything else, it's huge. Yet the sport itself hasn't really taken off here in the States as far as what we thought it would when Pele came to play for New York back in the 70s. And now football, you see this, and like John said, a lot of folks are saying, well, I don't want my boys or my kids to play football because of the potential for mostly head injuries, as we've alluded to. But now you see something like this, and it's like, I don't know how those guys, like this coming Sunday, this weekend, getting on the field, that's got to be in the back of their heads.
That's a great point. I just, even if this guy continues to make regular progress, what those players went through, I agree with you. How do you get yourself back into the frame of mind to play this game?
Well, I know everyone did. I mean, I saw a lot of comments from the fans that were at the game or that were watching the game who were like, "What about the game? You interrupted my game, man." And I'm like, I get it.
Was rare.
And I saw more than you'd think. And where you're like, and I understand like somebody that bought tickets to go to the game, it's expensive and you take the time out and you go there, but it's like, again, to this point of this is someone's life literally, potentially, ending. What kind of a society are we?
I don't know if you guys go back that far, but the Detroit Lions had a guy die on the field, Chuck Hughes, and that game continued.
Well, that was a different era.
But that was right at the end. Well, it was at the end too. Yeah. I mean, this was. This is going to sound horrible, but this for the NFL, it was like the worst time for something like this to happen. A marquee game between two potential Super Bowl games on Monday night, the most watched game of the year. Yeah.
I will say hats off. Look, there's a lot of criticism, and a lot of it is earned to the NFL about how they've handled these things in the past. And I'm not trying to, diminish that in any way. But I do say hats off in this case where it seemed to be pretty early on in the process. They're like, yeah, this game's done. There wasn't much of a debate going on.
They did keep saying, we're suspending play right now, and they weren't really sure. But when you're looking at a player down before the ambulance and got him out of the stadium, before Damar Hamlin was taken out of the stadium, he was on the ground, and the players were there for about a half an hour. So you look at that, and you're like, how could those players even think about just looking at the emotion on their faces, think about putting their helmets back on and going out there and hitting somebody.
Yeah, and it's a teammate of yours, much less. I mean, even if you're on the other team,
I think it's brothers in arms in that.
Right? I just, right. It is hard to imagine that you could, get back into that kind of a thing. So I looked up the stats, and so from 2008 to 2018, there are 106,000 fewer youth players. In high school football, particularly. So there were 1.1 million in 2008, and so it's down just below a million.
Okay, but I do need to bring a small protest here. I didn't think there was going to be any research on this.
Oh, okay. You're right. This is violating the title of this.
John's really
sorry.
He's trying to earn his points for the year.
I'm sorry. I got carried away. It's the newsman in me. I'm so sorry.
He likes to say, I've got stats.
No, I mean, even LeBron James has come out and said his kid wasn't going to play football. He said, I had to play football to try to get out of my environment, but my kid doesn't need to do that. And no, my boys didn't play football, and it wasn't because we banned it. They just had no desire in it, and they weren't very big. But I think I've had friends who've had kids who played football successfully and went on and played in small college, and he was a big fan, and he said one of the best days of his life was when his kid played his last football game, because it really concerned him about the potential injury.
And then, and just to play the devil's advocate, you also hear from a lot of parents who will talk about the positive benefits that football provided over the course of their kids, career and
moving into the business atmosphere, so as far as the competitive edge.
It's not saying that it's all negative, but there is that negative aspect to it.
Do we have an update on Hamlin? Do we know what?
The only thing I saw this morning is that
I thought we weren't doing research.
No, but I mean, it is such a serious topic here, and we've all seen, if you didn't see it live, probably seen clips of the game, of what happened with Damar Hamlin and his condition right now. You said you heard something, Rich?
I just saw this morning that it's still in critical condition. He's still on a ventilator. Yeah. There's some reports that his condition has improved, but boy, it's tough. I mean, if it's what they thought it was, that he was, the fact that they had trained personnel and equipment on the scene saved his life, at least momentarily.
Right. Yeah. Right. The NFL, and I didn't realize this until I read about it after this tragic event, was that they obviously every game, regular season and playoff, they have a trauma plan in place in case there's a trauma one center that's always identified. That will be the place that they will go. There's never, so you can take all that decision making out of it. It's like, just, we know where we're going. We know what we're doing when this happens.
But what does that tell you about the nature of the game, that you have to have that type of team and preparation in place?
I think it's interesting in the commentary on this, how things have changed and how we as a society sort of view things differently. Because when we were kids, and I think there's a lot of people still now where they're like, you see a good hit and you're like, nailed them, like where they just really slam someone to the ground.
Oh, there's times watching a game I'll see them and I go, dang, he barreled into him. Or you see that hit and you're like, I'm glad I'm not that guy.
Right. Oh, he must be seeing stars, And I think even the commentators have, in the last few years especially, have sort of moved away from those sorts of statements and been kind of careful about how they describe hard hits, because it's like, we just talked to Jordan Dick, who's the co-founder of the Motorsports Gateway Howell, talking about the racetrack coming to Howell, and I know it's not going to be that kind of a racetrack, but still it is racing. But let's face it, when we watch races, who are we kidding? You are watching, when you watch I understand that there's hardcore race fans who dig the racing and the competitiveness and the jockeying for position, and I get all that, and I've enjoyed that too. But we are lying if we say the crashes that are involved in those auto races aren't just something that's part of the...
It's amazing they can walk away from it, those that have,
So
and I get that. Although I appreciate the hard hits, and sometimes I think, oh my gosh, he just got right up and continued to the next play. That hit would have knocked me into the hospital.
It would have knocked me into retirement.
But I gotta say, I don't go to the football games to see the violence. I see the competition.
Right.
But it's a tough game. I think we're immune to we see the open field tackles that are so obvious, but the interior line play is incredible. You got these 300-pound, really fit people slamming into each other at high speeds, play after play after play. And I can remember seeing Dan Deerdorf once several years after he had retired from pro football, and the guy could hardly walk.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's a huge price they pay. Once I saw a stat that said that the life expectancy of a pro football player is like 10 years less than it would be otherwise.
That's a telling, a statistic or, a port to add into this.
It's rough on the body.
When you think about,
and people go into it willingly. Nobody's got a gun to their head.
Well, it's where boxing was and where it is now. Yeah. Boxing still, obviously exists and is a big money sport, but how it is perceived and how it is projected into society certainly has changed. It's not just, the violence of it is now not something that's just not even thought about, I guess, in a certain sense. Now it is, it's obvious, so you can't.
Yeah, but you don't see boxing on TV. Like, it's kind of been relegated to a certain thing.
It's like smoking ads. In a sense, it's like smoking ads. They took cigarette ads off TV because it was too. TV was so influential. And you're right. Networks, unless you're like HBO or whatever that have the pay-per-view, they really don't show boxing matches anymore. Whereas before you could watch it on,
Howard Cosell.
Exactly, just, on a Saturday.
Oh, yeah, I can remember going to the Olympics in Montreal in 1976, and that was huge.
Right.
Actually, Howard Cosell's doing it. But and there were some predictions at one time that football might go that same way, that parents weren't going to have their kids go to football because it was too violent. But I don't see it. There's just so much glamour and money.
I gave you statistics before. I just did the research.
that was for youth football, not going to the games.
Oh, okay.
Let's before we wrap things up, I do want to get your take though, Rich, on Harbaugh.
Now look who's steepling their hands.
I am steepling my hands. It's the first time ever. So your thoughts on Harbaugh's been in, there's a few teams that have approached him about leaving Michigan and coaching pro again. What do you think?
Well, it's hard to say. The rumors are out there. I think at least 3 teams have been put in the mix. I don't know if there's been any interviews. It would, not that Jim Harbaugh is looking for my approval on anything, but it would bother me, especially after last year's flirtation when he said, I'm done. I'm going to be Michigan coach forever. He can't stop other teams from contacting him. He can send a message and say, I'm not interested. The guys with incentives are going to be making $10 million this year. So I don't think it's about the money. I think may still have some Super Bowl designs.
Aspiration kind of things, yeah.
And according to John Bacon, that he's fed up or very disillusioned with college football, the direction it's going now. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be too disillusioned with the sport paying me $10 million.
But
I would. You asked me, would I worry about his 0-6 bowl record? That's disappointing, but it's a game. I would be very disappointed if he walked away from his team.
Yeah. Well, you would appreciate, like, for example, with Tom Izzo staying with Michigan State for as long as he has, you kind of appreciate that loyalty. You wonder if Harbaugh has that for Michigan. And, his loyalty to Bo, I guess, is, that kind of thing goes on in the college atmosphere. But then you think about it as a profession, going and winning a Super Bowl as a coach, maybe something that's on his bucket list.
I think that's probably it. And he's got every right to do that. I mean, but then, and I've never seen Harbaugh do this, so I'll give him credit for that, then don't complain about players who jump into the portal or jump to the pros or don't want to play their bowl game because of that. I mean, if the coaches have a right to come and go as they please, then certainly the players who make their income possible
sure.
have that right. But no, I'd be disappointed, but you know what they say, it's only a game.
That's true. And it makes a lot of money for the colleges, though.
That's a whole different topic. Maybe we'll talk about some other time. But
okay.
All right.
Well, research that, but never.
No, well, hang on to that research. Wait a minute. I thought we weren't doing research.
Yeah. All right. Well, it's been fun, Rich. We'll do it again next week, buddy. Happy New Year.
You guys. Take care.
All right. Thanks, Rich Perlberg, and the less you know. I think we might know a little more.
I think we do.
Maybe.
I'm a little concerned.
I'm a little disappointed.
I don't know how we handle that.
All right, let's get to our 2-cent history lesson for this January 5th, brought to you by Drew Goebel and Oakland Insurance. January 5th, it's National Whipped Cream Day. There's a few other little things going on, but National Whipped Cream Day today. Yes,
Hey,
and
now.
the reason it's National Whipped Cream Day, the holiday falls on the birthday of Aaron Bunny Lappin.
Really?
Aaron Bunny Lappin was the founder of Ready Whip.
Oh, really?
Not Cool Whip, Ready Whip with the spray, the can, the aerosol can where you could go, or perhaps some tested the Ready Whip for the gas only.
You push the nozzle to the side, but
you
not down. Oh, wait,
Don't
what?
try this at home, kids. You may get fired from Quick Pick.
This YouTube is not for kids. I clearly marked that on the not for kids.
Oh, you put
there's
a NFK logo.
There's a thing when you go up to put the YouTube, it says, "Is this for children?" Hell no.
No.
It's made by children, but not for children.
So yes, Ready Whip in 1948.
Okay.
Aaron Bunny Lappin.
Good to know.
Invented Ready Whip. 1931 in this state, the first woman to purchase a baseball team. Lucille Thomas bought the Topeka franchise in the Western League. 1931. Besides Marge Schott, was there any other owners
in MLB?
I MLB?
Can't think of one.
Remember she used
and I frankly forgot about Marge Schott.
Yeah, Cincinnati, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And she was quite a personality, Yeah, right. She had the little
dog, Shotzi or
whatever. Yeah, I forgot.
It was on this day in 1949, in his State of the Union address, President Harry S. Truman labeled his administration the fair deal. This is a fair deal.
Pretty fair.
When somebody says that, you got to wonder, is it really fair?
He's trying to build up the New Deal.
Yeah.
FDR.
Went from the fair deal
FDR had
to
the New Deal.
He had the fair deal.
Yeah. So the New Deal, was very successful and popular with FDR.
Sure,
and then Truman comes in and he's like, I've got a deal too.
Yeah, this is a fair deal.
I got a fair deal.
Has a stamp on it.
Yeah.
It's blue and it has the little squiggly lines around it. It says fair deal.
He should have had like a jingle. If you want a fair deal, go see Harry. If you want a fair deal.
1957 in England, the first ever broadcast of the Benny Hill Show was shown. 1957.
You can hear the song in your head.
And you can see him running by, slapping the bald guy in the head.
Who was that guy?
The little bald guy?
Yeah, I forgot. He had a name, but I don't know.
The great Jane Leaves started her career on the Benny Hill Show.
Daphne Moon?
Yes.
Well, she was Daphne Moon on Frasier.
On Frasier, yes. And then went on to Hot in Cleveland. Mm-hmm. And now she's on a doctor show. I think it's the Resident, maybe, or something like that. I forget, but she's on a medical show. 1988, Madonna served estranged husband Sean Penn divorce papers. I think he's gone on to do bigger and better things
I think he is.
since the marriage. But
Since
it's
what was their movie together?
Shanghai
Surprise or something. Yeah, it was horrible.
It was no Fast Times at Ridgemont High.
No.
We lost Sonny Bono on this day, 1998. Sonny losing his life in a skiing accident.
You know, we talk about football.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. After 14 years of denials in 2004, Pete Rose publicly admitted that he had bet on games while managing the Cincinnati Reds. You know, you got to wonder if some of the guys in the dugouts now are like on DraftKings or
Right, that's what
Fan Deal.
Might be,
going,
yeah.
I think, I can parlay something into this game.
Well, it'd be like,
we may lose
right,
the game, but I'll win the bet.
If they're on DraftKings and the manager looks, what are you doing? He goes, nothing. What are you doing? Looking at porn? You know, like anything would be better than saying you're on DraftKings.
2004 as well, as Pete Rose was saying he bet on his own team. Kinks singer Ray Davies was shot in the leg while on holiday in New Orleans. He's 59 at the time, was shot when running after two men who stole his girlfriend's purse at gunpoint.
Wow.
He was admitted into a hospital in Louisiana, but his injuries were not considered serious, but still.
But when they shot him, he yelled out, "You really got me." I had to. I'm sorry.
He didn't. No, he didn't.
I had to.
Walk into this. It's terrible. And finally, that's it.
That's it. That just ended it. That joke. You're just like, no, we're done.
No, because I don't want to give you material to make comments on like that.
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. That's your 2-cent history lesson brought to you by Oakland Insurance. Thanks to Drew Goebel.
That's right. Call Drew Goebel at Oakland Insurance, 248-647-2500. You can depend on Drew Goebel at Oakland Insurance and Michigan-based Frankenmuth Insurance to provide the peace of mind you need. Also, Drew will probably be able to tell you more about Goebel beer.
I don't think so.
No, he did. He actually commented
Did
on
he?
it. Yeah.
The Goebel beer?
On YouTube. He said, don't forget Goebel beer.
I tried to forget.
We tried.
It was like a cheaper version of Stroh's, wasn't it?
It was.
It was like crap Stroh's. If
So-
you thought Stroh's was crap,
So here's the
Goebel
thing.
beer was even worse.
Don't go to Drew for beer recommendations.
No.
However, do go to Drew Goebel at Oakland Insurance to find out more about how he can help you with your insurance needs. 248-647-2500.
Thanks, Drew. We appreciate the support. Thanks to Jordan Dick for joining us today, Rich Perlberg too. And thanks to you for checking in on our live stream and the recorded versions too, which you can find at mikeandjohnpodcast.com.
Hey, we have a website.
We do.
All right.
You can also subscribe to our newsletter.
We
each
have a
and every
newsletter.
weekday. Yes, we do.
You
You
can
can
do
right
that.
to your inbox.
You can do that on our website.
Smooth.
Hey, we have a website.
Yeah, it's mikeandjohnpodcast.com.
All right, enough.
That's enough.